Foot soldiers.
Park.
Foot soldiers.
Park.
Foot soldiers.
Park.
Thanks, y'all. My name is Jonathan B. Tucker. I first came here in 2001 with a student group. And then I wrote this poem in 2009 when I came back leading more student groups and bringing them to meet Miss Bland. It's called This Rock. I have a couple copies available if you would like a printed copy after this. But thank y'all so much for having me. I'm really honored to be here. An extraordinary woman once asked me to pick up a rock. Standing in an old lot next to an old church on a hot day in a public housing complex in Selma, Alabama, I bent and picked a pebble from the ground. As I did, she told us about Sunday, March 7th, 1965, now known as Bloody Sunday, where she marched with John Lewis, Hosea Williams, and 500 other activists atop the infamous Edmund Pettus Bridge. She witnessed, as an 11-year-old girl, the unprovoked beating of peaceful marchers. The clubs, the horses, the gas, the guns. She heard the screams, saw the blood, and fainted. The rock in my hand, she told me, was there that day too. For after the chaos and violence, the marchers returned, she told me, to this church, to this block, and stood here on this lot. That rock then became a seed germinating in my hand. I held it tight and felt it growing inside me. Like a castle of courage for a cowardly kid, it gave me solace. Showed me George Wallace, red-necked and bigoted head, showed me Jimmy Lee Jackson, Schwerner Cheney Goodman, King X, and 4 little girls dead. It showed me strife and pain, the need for struggle with or without any gain. It showed me the jails, the dogs, the hoses, the hate, digging its roots into my skin. This rock showed me my fate. Whether grave or great, I know we cannot wait, cannot be scared, and cannot not care. That, she told me, was John Lewis's rock. As he led the marchers headfirst into the batons, it was Amelia Boynton's rock. As she inhaled the toxic gas, it was Hosea Williams' rock. After taking the loud end of a bullwhip, they all came back here, where we stood, to the church in the projects, to the GWC homes, to the lot outside the overflowing sanctuary turned emergency room because the white hospitals wouldn't take them. They stood here and healed. They stood here and waited. They stood here and organized. They stood here on this rock and planned to march again. In the face of hopelessness, in the face of violence, in the face of state-sponsored homegrown terrorism, they stood strong for freedom. Against the law, but with the Lord. Against the odds, but firm with unity. They stood strong together on this rock. They touched this rock touched me, and you don't have to study philosophy to know that therefore we have a connection, but it is much, much more than that. This rock became a quarry of passion implanted in my hand, roots spreading in my skin. It found home in my blood and began breeding. As numerous as the stars in the skies, I now find magic rocks like this in the eyes of every protester, preacher, and social worker I see. Every student, scholar, and dropout, every prisoner, parolee, and public defender, I see this rock every day. No longer stepped on. We hold our rocks high in our hearts, ready to organize and stand together, ready to fight another day, just to get beat down against the law, but in the name of justice, until they can beat us no longer, until there is no one left to do the beating, for each of us has a heart beating stronger, with magic stones in our hands, ready to carry this movement on longer, from song to bus, jail to jail, street to street, country to country. This is no small thing. This pebble, this rock that Miss Joanne Bland gave to me has forever changed my life.
Bravo! Yeah.